If Bronny wants to stop right now, or never played basketball, or just wanted to be a gamer, or wanted to be a chef, or wanted to be nothing to whatever, he could have done that. People don't understand how hard that is and the commitment for him to be coming out of heart surgery less than a year ago, for him to be able to be in the NBA. The kid, he's special, but he doesn't care. He doesn't. It doesn't bother him, speaking about the critics and the criticism. Bringing us on camera, that was a powerful quote. When I read it, I was like, y'all have to hear it. The show, we have to discuss it. Joy, you have to comment on it first. What was your reaction to what Bron had to say about all of it?
I think he's right. I think Bronny has handled the critics very well. Anytime that you're in the public eye in any capacity, you're going to have critics. This just goes along with the territory. It is not something that anyone is exempt from. You can be in movies, you could be in TV, you could be in sports, you can be in any kind of entertainment, you could, whatever it is that you do, the comment section is gonna have its thoughts, and that's the way that it goes. You can't avoid it, and you can't control what people say about you. All you can control is your work and how people speak about your work and how people absorb your work. That's all you can do. And I think he's had the best example of all time in LeBron James in how to handle criticism, unfair criticism, over-the-top criticism, consistent criticism, criticism from every direction, criticism that doesn't make sense, some criticism that does make sense. No one has been criticized more than LeBron James, and I don't care what or who you want to present to me. The entire industry, in my opinion, of debate television and opinion television was built on LeBron James. He's been in the light since he was 16 years old. Yeah. The expectations of him coming into the league, what he's carried since he's been in the league, being the face of the league internationally, being involved in all sort of cultural discussions, the decision, the time in Miami, going back to Cleveland, the letter, like, we can go on and on and on. To me, it could not be me. I know it couldn't be me, because there is no way I'm not firing back at somebody. LeBron has handled nonstop criticism from the moment that he hit 16 years old to today in a way that I don't know that anyone else can, because I don't think there is a comp. So I think that Bronny has had an incredible example of how to handle criticism well. There's been times when LeBron has responded, of course. I'm not saying that. But compared to how much he's criticized and the way that he's handled criticism, I think Bronny has had a great example. And I haven't heard or seen Bronny react in a way that he, is warranted to. I like that athletes and public figures have the ability to have their own platforms and fire back at critics, if they will, or explain themselves or apologize if they need to or not. That's the world that we live in. You can get criticized and you can speak on it. And he hasn't. So he's not going to be exempt from criticism. He's not going to be exempt from pressure. He's not going to be exempt from whatever unfair criticism or over-the-top criticism or haters or whatever it is. No one is exempt from that. And he is in a very unique position. So I think he's handled it well. And while, it might be a little extreme to say that no one cares, we all care a little bit. We all want to be received well. Very few people are cool just being the villain, even if it's been assigned to them or not. I think he's done a really good job, and I think he has the best example. 2-5. What's your response to what Bron said about Bronny?
I think LeBron's right. I mean, who knows his son better than him, right? Him and Savannah, they know their son better than anybody. I just think that when you have a guy like LeBron James, and you're the father, right? I go through this with my son a little bit. Now, I'm not LeBron, but like my son wants to play football because I play football. When I go hang out with him and I drop him off at like little events with his friends, like all his friends gravitate to me, right? Kids I don't know. And like he loves that. And he's always trying to like impress me. So I say that to say like for Bronny James to continue playing basketball, I'm talking about as a young age, to compete with your dad, the name, and you keep going at it and still doing it, like that shows who he is. And another thing is LeBron, Joey talked about it being criticized so much. LeBron's the best role model we've ever had. Just thinking about it, though. On the court, off the court. And the way he's handled things. Like, even with the Miami, I hated that decision. Like, yo, LeBron James, why you going to Miami? And he had times where he had weak moments and respond, but overall, he handled that so well. So going through all that, right, and then getting to this point where now your son is playing with you, you think all them years he didn't teach his son the way to go, how to defend yourself, how not to defend yourself, how to answer critics from instead of talking, go out there and playing. Like, all these different things. So having the best role model and the best example in your household since you've been a kid, of course he's going to do things the right way. So, I mean, I think Bronny's used to this criticism all the time, right? Even in high school. It's crazy. I started watching his high school. What are their name?
Sierra Canyon.
Sierra Canyon. And everybody's always talking about how big they are, all the good players they had. Kid from my high school, in my hometown went to that school, so I was always checking them out. And there was always arguments. They hyping Bronny up. He's not even the best player on the team, right? You never see Bronny change, the way he does interviews, the way he talks about his teammates. Absolutely. And when I seen him, I said, yo, this kid, the growth of him, you can tell his dad is in his household, you can tell his dad's been coaching him up. So, I mean, I want to say it's unfair criticism, right? Because if he's on Lakers because his dad is not, who cares? Because Bronny's not even going to address that. He's always looking to go forward. Same thing LeBron does. So happy with LeBron said, and hopefully, Bronny keeps going forward in a positive way.
Yeah, I've always respected Bronny. We had the conversation on here the other day, just about how hard Bronny works, when J.J. Redick got up there and said those comments. And I'm like, man, the young fella works his tail off. He ain't in the media. He ain't saying nothing crazy. All he does is put his head down and work. And I respect that. And a lot of that comes from LeBron. Mm-hmm. The critics are going to come. LeBron and them knew that. How this thing went down, you knew the critics were going to come. You knew people probably was like, we don't want to wait for Bronny to get better and develop and all that. We want to see it now. Your daddy got you here. We want to see it now. So we knew the critics were going to come. They have to let this young fella develop and let this young fella grow. But this is a different situation for Bron.
Talk to me.
Because this is your son.
Yeah.
I don't care who I am on this planet. If I got my son to the NBA, I'm answering all the critics. Talk about my son crazy. This is you can talk about me all you want. I ain't got to respond to you. I'm good. I'm going to do what I do. This is my blood. This is my firstborn son that's in the NBA. I'm not finna let this go on. So this is a different situation for him because it's like, dang, these critics coming at my son like this. Man, Jordan James, I wish it would happen. Yeah. I don't care if I'm the GM and you get drafted in the first round. You're not going to talk about my son like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how going forward he handles all this. Bronny will be fine.
That's a really good point. I wanted to go to commercial, but that's too good of a point because I was thinking about the one time I really snapped at somebody on social media. What about me?
Yeah.
Just coming to my brother.
100%.
Come at me, all you. I mean, I say something today, I'm going to end up trending for Acho's an idiot, Acho's this, Acho's that. But they came at my brother, like, Dad, nah.
That's family.
What we not going to do is that. Because my brother's nice. So here's what we not going to do. You can come at me, but you want to attack. No. So, like, LeBron, people talk about LeBron is cool. But then when you talk about Bronny, that's where I'm curious, obviously, 2-5, your father, James Jones, your father. I think it hits different when you talk about your kinfolk. Joy, obviously, you've been kin to a NFL player.
And I'm very grateful that he played in the era that he played in. I say it all the time. But I do think you have a point. It's going to be challenging for LeBron to see his son get criticized, and he knows that. He knows that is coming, and that he's going to have to handle that in a different way. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he won't care. Maybe it will be a different LeBron than we've seen over all these years because he doesn't care about what people will say about him, but what people will say about Bronny. I think the biggest point that he is trying to make in this, though, is that Bronny doesn't have to do this. Bronny doesn't have to try to be an NBA player, which is an incredibly difficult thing to do. He didn't have to come back after the Hart situation. He didn't have to play basketball at all, knowing that the pressure that would come with being LeBron James' son. So to me, it's really very obvious that he loves basketball because he doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to want to be a basketball player. He can do anything he wants in the world. And he's choosing to put in the work and the effort to be an NBA player. And I think that says something about him, and he's handling the critics very well. It is going to be interesting, though. I'm telling you because I know it's coming because my nephews, and it does. It makes you feel a little different. I'm like, you can call me all these type of things, and I might still cook you if I want to, but I remember the closest comp I can draw on the LeBron scale is in reading Will Smith's book. Will Smith was talking about when he and his son Jaden did After Earth, and the critics came at Jaden saying, like, the acting job was terrible, only in the movie because of his dad. He should never act again. I don't know if Jaden's acted since. He was like, when I get criticized, that's one thing. Yeah. But when I had to read online Jaden get criticized and how Jaden had to respond to the criticism, he was like, that hurt me most as a father was when my son had to go through that. Say I'm a terrible actor. Say I'm whitewashed. Say whatever. Everybody said everything about Will Smith. He said, but when they was talking about my son, he said that hit different. So, I can't. This is going to be interesting.
I'm just saying.
but his.
Oh, it's going to be interesting.
He's a grown man.
Yes.
He is, but I'm your dad.
But you're always a dad.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
You're always a dad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just imagining like that one reporter, like, should you have been in the game? Coming at Bronny, and Bron said, hold on.
Yep.
Like, you talking to the wrong one. Watch out, Bronny. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. This is a different situation for him that he's in right now.
That's a really good point. Well, different situation the Jets are in because they have expectations going into the season. We are literally 2 months away from the opening Monday night game, Jets versus the Niners. Niners trying to get back to and win a Super Bowl. Jets trying to get to the playoffs for the first time since 2010. The question is, who has more pressure on them this season? Aaron Rodgers, Jets, or Kyle Shanahan's Niners? That is next on Speak. And Fred Warner's there too.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.